What's going on, people? It's your boy Astro, aka the Galaxy Shogun, and we're coming here today with One Piece chapter 1161 review, Song of Love, Bound Under a Rain of Arrows. Wow, what a crazy poetic name, Oda. I'm not even sure I got that right. That's like a pretty big mouthful there. Anyways, I know this review's a little late, so my apologies. It was all over the place, Tokyo, Kyoto, all that fun stuff, working, job, all that. Unfortunately, I do not get paid from this, so, I tried my best to get it out on time. Unfortunately, sometimes it slips, so I'll work hard to make sure that doesn't happen, but it is what it is. I don't get paid by this, so, with this chapter, a lot happened, and I did read it a lot earlier on, so I did give it a reread before this review. And, it was a very eventful chapter. I think the last few chapters were super hype, but maybe a lot didn't exactly happen. But this one, it's kind of the exact opposite, because, we got some crazy stuff going. And not only do we got some crazy stuff, like, there's some possible revelations, like, for example, like, Captain John having an arm that looks like kids. Does he have the Jiki no Mi, like was the original user? Or even Satchel's Gaffy, we got another Holy Knight family from the Satchel's family. Maffy, I should say, not Gaffy. Using kind of like a Raditz style or Nappa style ki blast from the mouth that's very reminiscent of like Kizaru or even Kuma. So it's like, did she have the Pika Pika no Mi before Kizaru? So anyways, let's get into the chapter. So we start off, seeing Garp still trying to escape with Shanks and Shamrock, and then here we get the revelation that Maffy, who is the chick that a lot of people thought was related to Gillingham, seemingly that's not the case given that their family names are different. The designs do definitely look very similar though. Maybe that's just a popular Celestial Dragon hairstyle or something like that. But anyways, turns out that, she finds Shanks and she was tasked to get back Shanks and Shamrock. Let's not leave Shamrock out of this. And she sees a young Marine who has the babies, and this is, of course, Dragon trying to save them. So Dragon gets instantly, sniped down by whatever ki blast situation Maffy has coming out of her mouth. So we get the title card that she is from the Satchel's family. So really cool. I think we're a little over halfway, or maybe exactly halfway, for knowing all the Celestial Dragon families. So basically, she goes ahead and shoots that shot, and Dragon's out. Shamrock and Shanks basically go flying. She retrieves Shamrock, and then she talks to someone on the phone who's eternally grateful that Garling is not going to kill them for, failing that epically. Garling's kids being kidnapped, he's definitely going to kill whoever is responsible for that. Definitely. So, somehow Maffy does not realize that, I guess there are two kids, so she ends up getting Shamrock, but Shanks has a little, Goku Dragon Ball moment where he bonks his head, and maybe that changed the trajectory of his entire life. Who knows, maybe he was going to be like a cold-hearted savage, like his brother and father, but, Shanks is seemingly a pretty decent dude up to this point, top one Shanks. So, it's pretty interesting to see that Oda deliberately showed him hitting his head. It's like, are we going to go through, a nature versus nurture thing, or is he implying that, nature or nurture is not even relevant? Because that's kind of the thing with him hitting his head, right? We would think that by being raised by Roger, he became a half-decent person, even though, to be fair, Roger's a pirate. It's not like he's a saint or anything like that, but in comparison to Garling and the way that Shamrock seemingly is, I was definitely looking forward to seeing that nature versus nurture, but now that Shanks has hit his head, and, Dragon notices this, and it's like, oh my god, I'm going to save this one baby, I'm so lucky. It kind of feels like Oda is saying, hey, if he didn't hit his head, he would have been a giant piece of crap, just like his dad and brother. So definitely going to be interesting to see how that plays out. So we get to some super hype parts next. We got the Rocks pirates fighting the Marines, and again we see Captain John with like a mechanical machine hand, and it's looking a lot like kids. Looking a lot like he could be the Jiki no Mi. I know a lot of reviewers have said that already, but I definitely want to point out that it definitely does look like that. So that's two possible devil fruits that we're seeing. Recycled, I guess. Not recycled, plot-wise. I'm not saying it as, a negative thing, a negative connotation. I'm saying, recycled in the sense that we know users in current day that have them, and now we're seeing the prior users, which I do enjoy that, actually. We saw a lot of that in Wano as well. So, beyond that, we have Garp just looking like a badass. Let me get this. Let me just get this out of the way. Garp is only concerned with fighting people and fighting Roger specifically. This boner he has for fighting is actually ridiculous, because people are dying around him and he just doesn't seem to care. And I just don't know how Oda can make me like Garp again, as much as I once did, because he's seemingly okay with all this murder slavery going on, and he's actively helping the Celestial Dragons right now, which is just kind of I get he wants to fight, but it's epic. This guy comes in throwing a Galaxy Impact or whatnot, or what looks like it, going up against Whitebeard, Kaido and Big Mom. And even Whitebeard's like, hey, I just don't want to fight Garp. Like, let's get out of here. Same thing with even Big Mom, you know, Lin. Kaido's basically the only one that was willing to fight, which is insane. But Lin tries to sneak him. Like, she does like I think it's a heavenly fewer blast, which is pretty insane. Like, it's basically like a finish buster, if you know like Trunks' moves, if you're a Dragon Ball fan. Like, I think in like Budokai, like it's very similar. She does like a huge like she combines Zeus and Prometheus. We've seen this before when she was fighting Long Kid. She didn't make it into Mother Misery, so maybe Mother Misery is a technique she learned later down the road. But this attack was epic. Like, she basically finish busters Garp, and this guy tanks it. This guy literally tanks it. He goes, that's not even enough to cook a prime rib. Like, I can't even get the words out because it's just so outrageous. And I wish I can just, like, you know, because Garp has already changed my mind a long time ago. When I saw him go for Kobe and seen how powerful he was, Garp is absolutely that guy. But the problem is, I think, like, morally or ethically, like, I just can't jive with it, man, because he's letting a lot of crap just go down, and he doesn't really like seemingly care. Like, sure, obviously we know he doesn't like the Celestial Dragons, but is that really enough, Garp? Is that really enough considering what's going on the island? Like, you know, the theory that Imu's gonna come and, you know, Dami reverse C rocks, and that's why Roger's gonna have to fight him. That's another good point too. Like, obviously at the end of the chapter we have Rayleigh having his moment with Shaki, and we'll get to that, but it's like Roger is becoming a very dull character in comparison to a lot of things going on. And I'm just wondering why. Maybe we'll have more Roger and more development, but as of right now, he's just kind of flat, especially in comparison to people like Zebek or, God, even Garling, like, you know, giant douchebag, but like, he's just more interesting. And I know, you know, I've been reading this story for a long time, and a lot of you have too, so of course Roger's going to feel kind of stale, but it's like, everyone else seems to be getting like this really cool lore and this really cool like motivations, and Roger is just kind of like, I'm a pirate and I'm kind of a gooner and I'm really strong and I'm a D, and that's kind of it. And then, you know, Zebek's doing things for his family, and Garp seemingly is like the similar thing to Roger. Like, I just like to fight. I'm a musclehead. Like, this is very much feeling like some classic Toei, like Dragon Ball Z stuff. I'm mentioning Dragon Ball Z a lot because I can't help but bring it up. Like, these guys just care about fighting. They're like Saiyans. Like, Garp and Roger, it's just like, they're just so simple, maybe too simple. I know Luffy's somewhat like that. Luffy's like a simple yet complex character, but it's just kind of like, yeah. I hope that there's some development there, otherwise those characters will definitely feel a little flat in comparison to some other characters. So anyways, Garp tanks everything, and they're trying to get out of there. Rock's Pirate's still fighting the Marines, and yeah, the Celestial Dragons, if I haven't mentioned it, they're threatening the Marines as they're saving them, like, oh, you're going to take accountability for this. Real crazy stuff, honestly, but, you know, Celestial Dragons, right? So, yeah, I guess the last section of the chapter would be Shaki. She took out all of the guards that were guarding her. Obviously, she's a Amazon Lily Empress, so she, you know, she's no slouch. A lot of people were questioning, myself included, how she got caught, but, you know, maybe Garling or, well, Garling probably didn't come, but strong people probably came. I hope that at some point we get some answers. How specifically she got kidnapped, or maybe Wang Zi, like, legitimately was the person to, like, physically do it to her, if he has some sort of, you know, sketchy power. Myself, I theorize that he might have the fruit that Caribou has, given that they look like father and son, and I you know, it would be a pretty good power to do, like, sneaky covert stuff. So, we'll have to see. But to be fair, Wang Zi was alive in real time, so he couldn't possibly have had that power, because he would need to be dead, because Caribou was alive. So, I guess I scratched that. He can't possibly have the power that Caribou has, because they technically existed at the same time. Because the Rocky Port incident and Caribou, they were active at the same time. So, yeah, anyways. You know, it's kind of crazy seeing, and not crazy because we already know Summers is just like office rocker, but he came out like originally just like is a more chill seeming guy. Same with Gillingham, actually. Like, you kind of started to, you know, be like, oh, these guys aren't like that bad, and then they just end up being the worst people ever. Like this guy slapping Shaki, my blood was boiling, and seeing Shaki like try and get him with the sneak kick, that was great. And, you know, Shaki's cool, and I've always wanted to see her and Gloriosa's fighting style. If there's ever, like, a Burning Blood 2, I'd love to see them. But, the fact of the matter is she was going to get killed by Summers. Summers basically said, hey, I'm not going to have you. Garling's going to probably have you. So I can just play this off as an accident and kill you. Like, this guy is very sadistic. So, you know, he's about to finish her. He's saying, oh, I'm going to do 5 hits to finish you. Crazy crap like that, right? Insane. Real dark. And guess who comes at the last minute? The knight in shining armor, Silver's Rayleigh. So he comes and he uses a move called Higebana, which roughly translates to something about lotuses. or a spider lotus or something like that. There's a few different translations depending on what you saw, but I believe the Japanese is Higebana or Higebana or something like that. So, yeah, that's a pretty cool move given that we've seen, again, Linlin use Heavenly Fjord Blitz or Fjord Blast, whatever, which is probably the coolest move I've seen her do other than Mother Misery, and also we're getting Rayleigh using this Higebana like Lotus move, so Lotus Crescent move. Not moon, move. Just want to clarify, I said move. But yeah, I think that's mostly the chapter. At the end we get the lovey-dovey embrace of, imagine being Shocky, like the guy that you love, the person that you love is coming to save you, like at the last moment while you're being told by some douchebag that you have no hope. So that's definitely pretty cool. And yeah, overall, so the chapter was nuts. We also get the name of, Blackbeard's mom. It's Ellis. Rox does mention that he's coming for Teach and Ellis. So obviously Ellis is likely Blackbeard's mom there. And yeah, it's pretty insane that we're getting all these revelations. Again, with the whole Shanks hitting his head thing, I don't know if I love that plot point, because now it doesn't seem like we'll get a nature versus nurture. Now there's always going to be an out, like, he hit his head. Did it really matter? Like, I don't know what Oda's trying to get at with that, but I trust in his writing, even though I don't agree with it 100% of the time. He's Goda for a reason. Anyways, that's been my chapter. I hope I didn't miss anything again. I apologize for being late with the review, but, I want to grow this channel, and I'd love it if this was my job, but it's not. I have a family, I have kids, so videos come out when they come out. I mean, I'm still going to try and do more videos, but just personally, where I'm at in life right now, it's very transitional. Being in Japan for like almost a year now, I gotta start getting some stuff going. So unfortunately, like, I'm not gonna say that this will continue to happen, but occasionally it might happen. So my apologies if you've been waiting for the review, and definitely check out the 1 minute review if you like to watch both of them, or maybe you just watch one of them, who knows. Anyways, it's been your boy Astra, aka the Galaxy Shogun. I hope you enjoyed the review. Catch you later. Peace.